my back blown out in peace. You think I got time to talk about a divorce that's a year old?
She always believed that home was where she could finally breathe. After everything, fame, heartbreak, betrayal, and being misunderstood, home was supposed to be her one safe space. It was where she sang off-key while cooking, hair wrapped up, no makeup on, where she curled up beside her daughter, shut out the noise, and found peace in silence. It was her private world, a place that reminded her she was still whole, even when the world outside tried to tear her apart. But even that was taken away from her. At first, the signs were small, so subtle she almost didn't trust herself. Teyana had always been a strong woman, but her instincts had started whispering. Something wasn't right. She felt watched, and not just the kind of being watched that comes with being famous. This felt more personal. It started with her Bluetooth speaker lighting up by itself. She hadn't touched it. No music was playing, and no one else was home. She brushed it off. Maybe her daughter had clicked something on the iPad by accident, but it kept happening. Then one night, she heard a soft clicking sound in the hallway, almost unnoticeable. When she walked out to check, nothing. Just a brief flicker of the lights, and everything returned to normal. She tried to stay calm. Maybe it was stress. Maybe all the drama with Aaron had her on edge. But that uneasy feeling didn't leave. If anything, it grew stronger. She began noticing little things. Earrings moved from the bathroom to the hallway table. A drawer she always kept shut slightly open. A faint smell, his cologne lingering in a room he hadn't been in for weeks. She started locking her bedroom door. She checked the baby monitor twice every night, but none of it felt like enough. Then a friend came over, someone who worked in tech. They were sitting in the living room when he noticed something blinking barely visible near a ceiling vent. He asked gently, "Do you have cameras in here?" Teyana paused. "Only outside, front yard." Without saying much more, her friend stood up, pulled out his phone for light, and climbed up to investigate. Within seconds, he removed a small device barely the size of a thumbtack. It was a hidden camera. Teyana didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just stared at it, frozen. Her heart pounded. Her thoughts raced. How long had it been there? How many moments had been recorded? Her friend insisted on checking the rest of the house. They searched every room. By the end of the night, they had found 3 more hidden devices, one near the hallway, one behind a book on a shelf, and one in her bedroom. She sat on the couch, silent. Her daughter was sleeping just a few feet away, completely unaware that their home, the one place meant to be safe, had been compromised. The next morning, she called a private cybersecurity team. No police yet, she wanted confirmation first. The experts ran deep scans, traced the devices, and found that they had been actively recording. One was linked to a cloud storage account. It wasn't just spying, it was systematic. Then came the worst part. A technician looked up from his computer and asked, "Do you recognize the name A.P. Films Backup?" Her blood ran cold. Aaron Pierre Films. That was the nickname Aaron used when they first started dating. His little creative project, a label only he ever used. Suddenly, everything clicked. The fights about her locking the bedroom door. The weird moments where he seemed to know things she hadn't shared yet. The time he made a comment about a phone call she had in private. Now, she knew how. She didn't go public immediately. She needed space. She booked a hotel room, took her daughter with her, and let her assistant handle the house. She told no one where she went, not even her mom, because the thought that the man she once loved, the man she trusted with her heart and family, may have secretly watched her in her own home, that broke something deeper than betrayal. Then the story leaked. A small blog posted it first. Sources say Teyana Taylor found spy devices linked to ex-Aaron Pierre. Most people thought it was clickbait until more credible sources confirmed the details. It spread like wildfire. Fans were shocked. Hashtags like #ProtectTeyana and #CreepyAaron began trending. Old videos resurfaced him filming her while she sang in a robe, laughing and saying "caught you slipping." Those clips felt playful at the time, but now, fans were asking, was it ever a joke? Aaron stayed quiet until 2 days later, when he posted a vague quote, "Be careful what you believe. Truth always comes out." That only made things worse. More reports came out. Teyana had filed a police report. Her legal team was preparing for a civil case. She had her home professionally cleared of surveillance devices. She changed her phone, updated every password, and moved her daughter to stay with family for safety. The comments online turned dark. She gave you love, and you stole her privacy. This is sick. She trusted you. Other people shared their own experiences, opening up about how common tech abuse is in toxic relationships. One tweet said it best: "If it can happen to Teyana, it can happen to anyone." Celebrities also spoke up. One R&B artist wrote, "This isn't tea. This is trauma. Y'all better protect her." Another actress said, "She's been strong through so much." This is a different level of violation, but the hardest part wasn't just being watched. It was realizing who had done it. This wasn't a stranger. It was a man who had once held her while she cried, played dolls with her daughter, whispered, "You're safe with me." Now she couldn't close her eyes without wondering if he ever meant a word of it. Days later, a video surfaced. Teyana pulled into a driveway, paparazzi shouting questions. She ignored them but rolled her window down just enough to whisper, "Thank you." Just 2 words, but they carried everything. Later, a close friend posted a picture of Teyana in the studio, headphones on, eyes closed, no caption, just a black heart emoji. She wasn't running, she was rising. This wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning of something powerful. This was no longer someone else's story. This was hers. Teyana wasn't just surviving, she was reclaiming her power in the most honest way she knew, through her art. Yes, she was creating again, but anyone who really saw her could tell she was still healing. Because betrayal like that doesn't just fade overnight. It lingers in the quiet moments, in the silence between songs, in the spaces where trust used to live. Behind the strength, behind the creativity, was a woman rebuilding herself, slowly, gently, but on her own terms. Meanwhile, Aaron acted like nothing had happened. Out of nowhere, he announced a live Q&A on social media. Maybe he thought he could change the narrative, distract people, or smooth over the mess. But the internet wasn't having it. As soon as he went live, the comments section blew up. Did you really hide cameras in her house? Are you watching us now too? What kind of person does that? The questions kept flooding, and each one hitting harder than the last. He barely said a word before ending the live abruptly. No answers, no defense, just silence. He even deleted the replay, like he wanted the whole thing to disappear. But by that point, the damage was done. People had already made up their minds. Later that day, Aaron's publicist released a formal statement. Aaron has never and would never violate anyone's privacy. Any accusations suggesting otherwise are entirely false. But the words rang hollow. People didn't believe it, not because they wanted to see him fall, but because the story had already revealed too much. The court of public opinion had spoken, and they weren't buying what he was selling. And then it got worse. A new voice came forward, this time from his past. An ex-girlfriend, speaking anonymously to a well-known blog, said this wasn't the first time Aaron had crossed boundaries. She shared that, years ago, she used to feel like he knew things she hadn't told him. Back then, she thought maybe he was just extremely observant, maybe even sweet. But looking back, she now realized it felt too similar to what Teyana had gone through. The pattern had always been there, she just hadn't seen it clearly before. While Aaron scrambled to control the fallout, Teyana stayed silent. But her silence wasn't weakness, it was strength, and people noticed. Women began sharing their own stories. Ex-partners who monitored their messages, turned on location tracking, or listened through smart speakers. Teyana's experience had opened up something bigger, a conversation so many had kept buried. And then came the headline that made it official: restraining order filed against Aaron Pierre. There were no deep details in the report, but it said enough. The court filing mentioned privacy invasion. That alone confirmed what many already believed: Teyana was taking steps to protect herself and her peace. Because this was never just about hidden cameras. This was about something far deeper. It was about a woman taking her power back, about protecting her personal space, about being able to rest in her own home without fear, about being a mother who wasn't going to let anything put her child at risk. Aaron may have tried to record her without permission, but in the end, Teyana took control of the story. She flipped the script. And this time, she was behind the lens. This wasn't just revenge or a headline, it was truth, and it belonged to her.